Serious, male sex workers of Reddit. How do your clients look like and what is your most and least common request? When I was 19 years old I traveled to Nick for a week and visited Shake Shack a few hours after arriving. I called my mom while I was in line and I told her I arrived. Yada yada. A man behind me overheard my conversation and asked me if I had any friends or family in town. We sat down together and he bought me a beer. He told me that I was handsome and he wanted to help me out by having me stay at his place. I would have said no, but he said he was a doctor and showed me his credentials. He told me he wanted me to walk around his apartment naked and just spend time with him while he wasn't working. He paid me $500 a night. When we went to the underground garage, a lot of cars had MD on the plates and I even saw a few US representative plates. I haven't been to Nick since, but he said I've always got a place to stay. Did not have sex and would definitely do again. Worked through Craigslist for a little while. Fell off the wagon once I ended up meeting with someone I knew from high school. Mostly it was older, larger women. Most of them wanted to be eaten out. But there was one girl. Oh my god. We were the same age. She was covered in tattoos, my favorite of which being a chest piece featuring the time turner from Harry Potter. Pierced nipples and clit. The works. We met up at a motel near where she lives and went at it. After a while, I lit up a cigarette as she laid in bed and she got up suddenly and began to vomit in the bathroom. After about a half hour she comes out and apologizes and proceeds to pull a huge bag of prescription pill bottles out of her purse. After she sees my surprise she tells me she has cancer and is trying to have a little fun since her boyfriend did nothing but work to pay her bills but would always be too tired to touch her. There were a lot of times I found out I was a guy on the side, but that charge made me particularly sad. I wasn't a full-time hooker, but I escorted exclusively for just one man. I was a uni student. He was married with kids. He was actually a very attractive man. He would come over and suck me off. That's it. Our sessions never lasted more than 10 minutes and I never sucked him. Started off as you.I 80/BJ. Eventually went up you.I 160/BJ. Sometimes higher if he was feeling friskier. It lasted for 3 years and I easily made at least you.I 600 every month. Paid off all my student loans and I'm now debt free. Removed. I've worked as FinDom. The usual is cash point meets. I meet the sub at a cash machine. He gives me his debit card and PIN. I withdraw what I want as he watches. That's it really. I was more of like a straight up hooker for a few months a couple years back. All my clients were guys. Very diverse. Some were old fat rude men. Some middle-aged married guys. Black. White. Indian. Even some younger guys that I thought were very attractive. Most common was them blowing me, which I didn't expect. Least common was this regular I had kept asking me to not shower cause he wanted me to be ripe. A very wide spectrum of looks. Mostly guys that I would not sleep with if it wasn't for money, ranging to guys I thought were in with me because they are hotter than me. Age range has also been from younger than me to in their 60s. I am 27 now and don't do it much anymore. Most common request was verbal degradation. Spitting. Slapping. I advertised as BDSM and let the guys request what they want. Least common was probably to me, haha. I played up the whole macho masculine role and it worked. Except times I was really into a guy and actually wanted to get head but didn't want to break character. Amateur escort here. I'm gay. And I only see male clients. I used to see this fat old European guy. He was really into getting his body massaged with lotion. And kissing with tongue. Made small talk while I massaged him. That is pretty much what we did. And for an hour and a half he would give me $250 cash. Met another guy last week. He's older. Muscular and kinda hot. I let him me for like an hour for $150. Anyway, how is everyone else here making thousands? Removed. Did escorting for a few months after college. Recently stopped after I got a call from a D. C number wanting to book me for 5 consecutive overnight stays in another town offering $800 per night. They didn't say any details, just wanted to book real quick, and basically the whole thing felt like a sting operation. I said I just give massages and don't or have any kind of sex, and they never got back with me after that. Overall though, it's good money if you are smart about it and have boundaries and don't let anyone convince you to cross them. Saying no is hard, BC the money is so good. Typically $200 per hour. But there really is a lot of guys looking for younger dudes to suck their dick or get head or do fetish. It's pretty surprising actually. My clients were generally middle-aged or older men. Rarely attractive. Usually just guys who were unable to get sex normally. A few who were in the closet and or married. Most common request was bareback. Though I always said the price was triple for that and no one took me up on it. Edit. Wow, my highest upvoted comment is about me getting it by old men for cash. Couldn't have it any other way. Also bareback means sex without a condom. Throw away for privacy reasons. I was a male sex worker in a large southern city. Most of my clients were men. Most common is just straight eyeing. I lay there. They move me where they want me and go to town. My least common was an older man who was a pastor of some kind. I would come to the church late twice a week at night and blow him. He would say the strangest things. One time he was finishing in my mouth and said prepare to receive God's seed. Some other times he'd say don't worry baby. You're about to get all the protein you'll ever need. He paid. So I didn't care. Then it came to the point where I'd dress up like a congregation member of his church, Pentecostal, so it was long hair, Jean skirt, etc. Prepare to receive God's seed. This. Male escort here. Most common request is definitely going down on older woman. But never attractive ones. 90% are larger than life. Least common request. I was once asked to peel a banana. Then seductively, yet carefully, pay off the rough outer layer with my teeth. To reveal the more slimy banana flesh within. This was a little strange. But I was totally fine with it. I mean, easy money. Right? She then wanted me to insert it. Biv. Needless to say it broke pretty soon. No doubt she planned this. And the rest of the evening was spent eating banana out of her. I don't consider myself a sex worker. But recently had a sex worker-like experience. I have a patient that has always flirted with me. At my regular job. She asked if I wanted to go with her out of town to a concert. All on her dime. I'm not attached, so I said sure. We spent the weekend partying together and went back to our lives on Monday. She got a very pricey hotel and primo tickets. I would guess about $1,000 for the weekend. I haven't had anyone treat me like that. But I liked the arrangement. When I was hustling, I stopped to work with specific guy. He was an older guy about 60 and I was 23. He was short, fat, and aged by war and a majority of his lifetime in the medical field. For some reason though, he really liked me. He started giving me 8 of the crispest $100 bills a throw once a month. It was some of the best and most kinky sex I've ever had. Even though I didn't get a real name from him. I actually miss the sex. Like a lot. Hiya. Male prodom here. Meaning that my specialty revolves primarily around BDSM kink fetish scenarios. My clientele is predominantly male thus far. And an average is pretty hard to define. Because my specialty is fetish. I have a pretty good mix of body types since sex isn't the primary goal. My most common request tends to be foot worship and scent. With a lot of men interested in BDSM. They get off heavily on the scent of a sweaty man. I actually had to ask a client once about it. But apparently, I have a pungent, earthy scent without being accurate. Take that as you will. Least common request. I had a guy once ask me to and vomit on him. And then punch him until I broke his jaw. I passed on that one. I don't do this. But I know someone who does, and 90% of his clientele are gay guys wanting blowjobs. He says the rest are usually 50-60ish widows wanting company. He also told me to say if you plan of being a male escort you better be cool with sucking dick and eating old PSSY. A lot. Weirdest thing was pulling barbed wire out of a guy's dick hole as he was coming. But that guy is apparently a returning customer and tips very well. I can't imagine his tip to be that good. Well, I'm a TV. Part-time. The most common thing is getting sucked off by an older guy. That's super common. Then sex. Followed by foot fetishes. The most odd request. As a gentleman asked me to pick up his wife in a bar. Total strangers. Gave me a headshot. Mid-40s good looking chick. Instructions. Pick her up. And take her to a room and have sex with her. Here's the creepy part. He said he was going to be in the closet. It turned out to be a good deal. We met for years. And at points I escorted both of them to parties and such. My payment was constant. Clothes. Gift cards galore. Dinners. Nights out. He and I never did anything. They look like middle-aged men. Most common? Slow. Sensitive hand jobs. Least common? Ah yes. For anyone curious. We couldn't actually get the geometry to work for doing them simultaneously. So we did the thing first. Fat middle-aged women. Most they want is to order pizza then cuddle. Least. Anything athletic. Just cuddling? Edit. That honestly made me kind of sad. Picked up a girl from a bar one night. Turns out she was a prostitute. I didn't pay. She was looking for fun. She convinced me to give it a try. Sure, why not? Most of the girls are pretty average looking. Normally a little overweight. The gene pool in us is amazing. A lot of them just want to go out on dates. Or will pay for an hour just to sit there and talk. Most of them just seem lonely. It was a little too much for me, so I stopped doing it shortly after. I worked for a company that provided discreet kink services for clients in the Nick metro area in the mid-80s. Mostly wealthy women or couples. Half of them were either hot younger wives or middle-aged divorced women. The other half were older 50 plus. Wow, this post is perfect for me. I do online sex work mostly through Reddit. I'm pretty well endowed and my most common request is cuckolding stuff. Probably because of that. I'm also in a BDSM relationship with my female full-time slave, so she and I can fulfill a lot of people fantasies. My least common request is vanilla sex pictures and videos, but I mostly work with clients who are into kink, so that makes sense. Most of my clients are pretty average people. Also heard enough a big number of the cuckolding clients have been Trump supporters. Go figure. Edit. For the skeptics out there. Go ahead and check out my submission history. Hi. You must be Brad. $200. Right? Yes. Nice to meet you. Say. Who did you vote for? Somewhat used my bod one time for work. Went homeless and asked some friends to couch surf. Eventually one of the girls I used to go out with made a deal with her roommates to let me stay at their apartment till I got a job. I was her DLDO. Their eye candy. And butler for about a month. Fun for a couple of days, but after one of their boyfriends threatened me and too much of the role reversal bit, I was done. Luckily I moved out quickly. I guess I only had one client. And I was an extra to the main worker. How did I get into such an arrangement? Ugh, life gets a little crazy sometimes. And you find yourself in a situation where you get offered $100 to be mean to an old man. I called him $$ at. Twisted his nipples. Let me suck me. Etc. It only happened a few times. Wasn't bad. You dirty little $$ at.